In reviewing the counseling session with my client, there are some things that I thought went really well and some things that I would do differently. Although I was able to determine that it really depends on what kind of client you're dealing with, in the way that some of the things could have been done differently, some was out of my control. For one, I think that the warm welcome and having good body posture and eye contact is strong for me. I think I was pretty leaned in and engaged with my client. I was actually more aware of my posture and I adjusted as needed. I am naturally a person that will cross her arms and I'll cross my legs when I'm sitting down. And I had to be really aware not to do that because I didn't want to come across as that I was closing myself off. I think I did well with encouragers. I smiled and I nodded, did the uh-huh. Um, I feel though that it was kind of difficult because my client was just going a million miles per minute with her talking. Like it was very hard to interject, and I think that was one of the biggest problems that I had. And just because for the nature of this is a project for school, I didn't want to call her out on it after, or even tell her that yeah, this was a little fast, like, for what I need to be doing, because I felt like, I might have clients like that in the future, and I need to be able to figure out what to do. And I had it in my mind, how I'm going to use, like, certain reflections and paraphrasing and clarifications, and it was actually a lot harder in the moment for me because I felt that she was jumping around a lot. She wanted to fit everything in, because I told her prior, we can't exceed 10 minutes. And I think she just had like so much going through her mind. She wanted to get it all out. Um, but for me, that was hard because I was having a hard time focusing on what she was saying. In my mind, I was just wandering. I'm like, oh God, what time do we have? How much longer can I focus on this? She was jumping around so much. I felt that I didn't get in everything that I wanted to ask her in the 10 minutes. And I think if I had my notes or was writing notes down, I would have been able to um, maybe get to more of those questions. But I wanted to really try to go in with nothing, not write down any notes, not be distracted. And I ended up being pretty distracted. So that made me realize that I need to be a little bit more, figure out like how to just block out other things and just focus 100% on the client, because of course my mind was going all over the place. Um, as far as the open and closed questions went, I think I did good with it. I definitely should have been able to gather more information, obviously, if we were going longer than 10 minutes, but I was able to get some information about her family. I could have gone deeper into it, as well as her being on medication previously. I was trying to make connections from the past to future, or past to current. Um, I was, I feel though that for me it was just really hard because, like I said, she was just talking a lot and just kind of jumping around. And I feel that, the more that we do these, the more comfortable I'll feel, because in my head, I knew I was going to ask this and try to, use these encouragers. And of course, that's real life. In the moment, you don't know what you're going to get. So I thought that that was just something that I didn't want to re-record because I felt it was real, it was raw. I do think, though, that because of all that going on, I talked a little bit more than I should have at different points. And I think that just goes to, like, a lack of confidence in a way. Just building that confidence up and not having to keep talking. Um, and as far as the diagnostic impressions, I would definitely go with major depressive disorder with anxiety, possibly generalized anxiety disorder. I came to this because she's not wanting to go out with friends, she's sleeping a lot, not wanting to go to work, ordering food instead of going to the grocery store. The scattered thoughts, like even with the interview, her nonverbal and her verbal, she was sitting up with her feet up on the chair the whole time. So if I saw this client in the future, I would definitely want to work with coping mechanisms for dealing with the changes. She mentioned she did not want to be on medication again, and wants to try talk therapy. So I would probably use the cognitive approach of cognitive behavioral therapy.